Welcome to the 80th episode of the Nerdom and Other Nonsense Anime Podcast. Today we are covering the 4th week of the winter 2019 anime season. As always, we include timestamps in the description of the YouTube video and the podcast feed if you only want to hear about one or two specific shows, because we spoil literally everything. My name is Bcom, and as we record this on Valentine's Day, I realize I trash-watched so many romance anime to help me forget about my own failures in romance. Also with me are Kat and Leo.
Not a lie. Not a lie.
There's a lot of fucking truth to that, Leo. God damn it.
Dude, do you hear the truth in his bitterness and the words?
Dude, I didn't come up with that till like 30 minutes ago. And when it hit me, I was like, I'll think of something. And it just hit me and I was like, oh, I have gold. And I was like, it actually kind of makes sense.
It's like you hit him where it hurts. Oh, shit. I love it.
Just another lonely Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so we actually did have some interest in the Bride of Bcom contest.
I'm so excited. You guys,
nobody
we're
submitted,
so much
but they
fun
had
with
some
this.
questions. So we probably got to get a couple rules timed out. So the question was how long they had, and we pretty much just kind of agreed on until the end of the season, as long as the show's airing.
So like April 1st, because that's like around when spring season starts.
Yeah. It would be too much of a pain to do the whole song. So like 15 to 20 second clip is more than enough, just pick a real fun part or something like that.
Yeah, that's enough. But if you do longer, we'll give you bonus points.
But I mean, even if it's like a short one, but it's like super good, like it could still win.
I mean,
in my opinion.
If you got like the whole costume and like you're really selling it, like that's impressive, right?
Or even if you don't have the whole costume, but you just make a really shitty version of the costume. That might also win some points.
I will be mostly judging it on execution and probably creative points to it.
We will all, as we judge anime, have our own judgment criteria.
I'll be voting on waifu factor, obviously.
Would Bcom want to fuck this person?
What about,
slightly different from what I meant, Kat, but okay.
What about some husbando factors? I mean, that's a possibility.
No, I'm saying waifu and husbando equally will be factored together. I believe there are going to be some husbando submissions possible.
I will die. Yes. That will be so great.
It will be amazing. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Okay.
Since it is Valentine's Day, why don't we start with your nonsense, Kat? Because apparently it's about Valentine's Day.
So I went to my boyfriend's house early in the morning to surprise him, and then I had the most epic fucking adventure getting back to my house and to work. Holy fucking shit! So I get on the highway. There's one of those circular semi trucks. You know the one I'm talking about that hold gas or something.
Yeah.
It decides as I'm pulling onto the highway that it's gonna do a U-ey to get in the lane, and it slows and almost tips over, and I can't stop in time, and so I have to slam on the brakes, and I touch the edge of the semi. That's
Jesus.
So I had to get out and check, and it would have been his fault if I had actually damaged my car, but I did not. So I was like, woo, got that out of the way. We're okay. Started going down the road again. I'm going a little fast, granted, but I get pulled over by a fucking cop car.
Oh man.
And it's a female cop. And so today on Valentine's Day, I had the pleasure of getting my ticket cherry popped. I've never had a ticket before in my life.
You've never had a ticket before?
Wow, that's impressive.
Not anymore.
That's impressive. Wow.
So after sitting through that, I was like, well, fuck me. So I'm going down the road. I'm like, well, this has just been really fucking terrible. Couldn't have been a worse commute, but that's okay. Things happen. I'm looking in the distance on 465. Leo probably knows 465.
Mm-hmm.
I see far in the distance a car crash happen.
Oh, God.
A 3-car pileup. And then the traffic just slows to a crawl. And I'm like, fuck!
How late to work were you?
I was 15-ish minutes late.
Honestly, not that bad.
I booked it. I took a detour. I was like, fuck. And the whole time I was just cussing, terribly. It was the worst commute ever. So that was my cursed Valentine's Day. What were you guys up to?
Beautiful, lovely day. Leo, you talk about your nonsense first.
Yeah, okay. So So I have found a new love of my life. It's called Apex Legends. It is so much fucking fun. Me and pretty much all my Fortnite buddies, plus a couple more people that used to play video games all the time, have come back out of the woodwork and are playing the crap out of this game with us. It's another battle royale. It's made by Respawn, right? That's the company. Yeah, these are the guys who made Titanfall 2. So it has like all the kind of parkour stuff to it. The gun handling's really good. The 8 characters that they have out all are very unique from each other. We just have a blast dropping. Even if we drop in and die within the first 30 seconds, it has a really fast loading time, so we can get right back into another match and not really be worried about it. But yeah, Bcom, you played with me and we had a blast, even though that was like day one and we all sucked so bad.
Yeah, I played some last night actually on PC, like late last night, because I had a friend online and I just wanted to see, all right, how does this feel on PC? And I will say, like, even on my computer, which is getting like a little old, like it runs super smoothly. It plays incredibly well. And like it's just as tough on PC as it is on Xbox, maybe even tougher actually. Because I usually have some success on Xbox, and like PC is like a kind of a cutthroat community.
Oh man, we've had everything. We would drop in a match and we would not see anybody until the very end and get like murdered.
Yeah.
Or we would drop it, and there was one like we were going to the most obscure points and constantly dropping in with like 2 or 3 other squads. We were like, can we get a freaking break already? But I played a lot of Mirage. He's pretty cool. But then I played Caustic the other day. He's my fave by far.
Oh, you like him a lot? Nice.
Dude, Caustic's so good with the traps and stuff. Like, I was the reason one match why we survived the one fight, because we kind of got them cornered in a room and I threw in my grenade, which let out the giant bomb gas, and they had to come out of it. But I'm the only one who can see through it, so I could see when they're getting ready to come out. I was just like, all right, they're coming now. And then we just mowed them down. And then at the very end, we didn't win. We almost did. We were in a little house. We were in the circle. The circle was only on the house. Had traps all the doors. They kept trying to get in, but then they get obscured by the smoke and they get back out. And we still lost that somehow. But it felt really, but we did really good. I think I ended with like 4 or 5 kills that match. So I was happy. He's awesome.
I was playing with my friend, and like he and my teammate had both died, and it was down to 2 squads. So it was just me alive. And I was playing as Bangalore, who has like the smoke grenade ability. So
that thing's fucking annoying.
I was hiding behind this corner, and I knew there was like at least 2 people, if not a full squad, left going up against me. And so I'm just waiting for them to come to me. And so when they start, like I hear their footsteps around the corner, I launch the smoke grenade. So it's just like nobody could see anything, and I just have an SMG, and I'm just like spraying at like where I last saw them, and I got like a lot of hits in, but still like everybody had like great armor at that point, so like I couldn't take them down. And I think one of them was a bloodhound, so they probably just scanned and then could easily see me through the smoke.
Oh yeah, the blood tracker. So they were just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they're like, oh, there he is. And I was like, shit. But that was like my last stand. Was really fun. It's a really fun game. It just creates so many fun moments, and having the class-based characters makes it like really, really awesome and flexible.
Do interesting squad builds with that. I think Lifeline seems to be a really big favorite for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, so is this different than the demo that you were talking about last week, Leo?
That was Anthem.
Yeah, this is different. Yeah,
this is a different game.
They both started with A, and so I was like, wait, he said this was shit last week.
Well,
what happened?
The crazy thing about Apex Legends was nobody knew anything about it. The day of, Respawn comes out and goes like, hey, we've been working on this game, hope you enjoy it, and just drops it. So where everybody's just like, what the? And it's super popular. It actually dethroned Fortnite on Twitch, I think, for at least a while.
Well, and I mean, that would be like a famous, like one of my favorite authors being like, hey, by the way, I'm dropping a new book today, bye.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Like, everyone would just explode.
And not a word was even mentioned. Oh, darn it. Lost where I was going to go with it. But yeah, it's just, it probably has one of the best launches, especially after like Anthem. Like this, it dropped. There's very little bugs. Very little.
It works like almost perfectly. The servers have had like minor issues, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
and they've still already done like one patch within a week
Okay.
for improvements.
And
So,
it's
like,
free.
It's free. If we forget that
It
part,
is.
Fucking
It's
free to
fucking free.
play.
Okay, but it's not
Yeah.
really because like none of these games are fucking
Well,
free.
it's free
So like,
in the
what's the
fact
catch?
that like and anything you can buy in it is just like cosmetic stuff. Like, so you don't even need to bother. Like you
but,
get
but
things
it's
faster.
like cosmetic stuff that you're going to buy, though.
Yeah,
It's
for
like,
sure.
It's-
Like a lot
it's
of people
also
will buy.
pretty
Yeah.
shiny.
yeah, it's also cosmetic
Right.
stuff you
Yeah.
get in your packages just from leveling up. So you can
Okay.
still earn that
Yes,
stuff.
very slowly you can earn that stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
How pretty shiny are we talking? Like, am I going to be attracted to this? Let me look at this. Apex, it's called.
Apex Legends. Yeah, I don't know. There's some cool looking characters in it. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks very well. It's definitely
Yeah,
it's a
playing the game
well-polished
actually
game.
does look really fun too. Yeah. All right. While Kat looks at that though, I need to talk about my nonsense.
Yay!
My nonsense has been going on for the past 2 months, and I can finally talk about it. Yay! I was part of the Reddit Anime Awards. I was a juror. So basically, Reddit has their own little anime awards. Our anime does, where they do an application process, and like you have to like write answers to a bunch of like anime questions or like anime analysis type questions.
He almost fucking killed us all in a stress rage while trying to write these. So everyone better be fucking happy with his answers. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that went into the whole process. Like once you get selected as a juror, then you have to like watch like every anime that is eligible in your categories, basically, and then like nominate a bunch of them, and then the public nominates some, like the people of like Reddit nominate some, and then you have to watch all those. Like you have to like do write-ups on each individual show, and then rank all the shows in order for the awards, and like award a winner, and then do like write-ups that will be seen by the public afterwards, like a second set of write-ups.
And then you have to set fire to your own hair.
Exactly.
In order to sacrifice something on the
Holy
altar.
shit. It was so much
of
work.
Yeah.
It was really fun though, because like it just like gave me like appreciation for certain anime. Like I was in the original soundtrack jury, was my favorite jury, because it really gave me appreciation for soundtracks like Liz and the Bluebird.
Oh, I read a little bit of that because you did it in the Nerdom doc, and I was like, who the fuck is writing this? I was like, this is not your regular Bcom level. This was like Bcom with like 2 guns to his head and like just going to town. I was like, wow.
It's like, okay, imagine that 7 or 8 other people are in this jury, and they're all like as passionate as you were about Doreku in arguing against me. And so I need to make an argument that could like stand with all those arguments and try to like change people's minds. It's really tough. Yeah, people are very stubborn. But yeah, it was a really fun process.
That's
and there's
the mark of a good personality. Someone who's fucking stubborn.
I mean, there were people who did change their minds. Like, they were like, oh, Harakana Receive actually has a really good soundtrack. And it got nominated in the top soundtracks.
Yeah,
because of
Kat.
I mean,
Kat liked that soundtrack.
what fun is someone who just bends over like a limp noodle? You want to fight.
Well,
You
most
want
people
someone
do.
to like lock horns with.
Yeah, most people fought. But anyway, that was fun. There's a website. I'll put the link in the description, but you can find it on YouTube at the Reddit Awards, Anime Awards channel. There's like a live stream that we did this past weekend. I was on it. I talked about OST. So if you want to check that out, you can. But anyway, we should talk about current anime, I feel.
Yeah, let's talk about anime.
So, Kat, you have the first show, Mob Psycho.
I do. I have my Mob Psycho again through some odd quirk of planning.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So, all right. So, Mob Psycho, episode 4, Evil Spirit. So, the delinquent like dudes from the Salt Middle School and the like Black Vinegar Middle School are back. You know, they're like, oh, I'm better. No, I'm better. And I'm pretty sure, isn't it that those are both snack flavors? Is that what it is? I feel like that was what it was.
Or at least flavors. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just flavors. I didn't think
Or
about
like
too
chip
much.
flavors. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
like popular chip, like, you know, kind of crap snacks that you eat out of bags kind of flavors. But yeah, so, which I've never had black vinegar. I mean, we have sea salt and vinegar. That makes me want to go to Japan and be like, what the fuck is this black vinegar? Like, lay it on me. I can take it.
Yeah, Japan and like Korea have like all these crazy like chip flavors that we don't have here. It's pretty awesome.
Just flavors in general. You've seen the line of Kit Kats they have?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Kit Kats. Oh, you think I've just seen them, Leo? You think I haven't ordered them?
Oh, no, I've ordered
through
some too.
asinine means and had them shipped to my house like a fucking nerd before? Oh, I have. Yeah. All right. So they're back at it. They're fighting each other. That guy, isn't it like Tenna or something? Or Teruki? Yeah.
Or wait, the bag or like Tenga?
The blonde guy that like helps.
Oh, the blonde guy.
Teru.
Teruki. Yeah.
They call him
Teruki.
Teru, but his whole name is Teruki.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call him Teru because that's what everyone fucking does in the anime. He comes and is like, "Oh, you guys, you can't do anything without me," and like whoops the salt leader's butt, and is like, "Bye bye." And Teru's like, "Well, I have to keep these black vinegar dudes on my leash because, you know, it helps me with my image and all that. But I secretly look down on them because I'm obviously a better person." And he has like a weird inner monologue at this point, and I'm just like, dude, stop talking to yourself in your own head. Like, live. You ever think about that? Like, he has so much fucking inner monologue.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So then it kind of goes to this, I guess it's a flashback, which I was confused at first, because at first I was like, does Mob have amnesia? What's happening? Did you guys get confused at first?
I'm confused. No? Are we talking about the right episode?
Yes.
Maybe I watched the wrong episode? Because I'm thinking about the episode where...
Oh no, did I watch the wrong episode?
Yeah, you watched the wrong episode. I am confused too. I was just sitting here thinking... I was just sitting here thinking like, okay, it's just been a while and I've forgotten everything.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first. But like, yeah, no, it's the episode where he goes to like the mansion and there's all the psychics, right?
Okay, so
yeah.
I must have watched episode 4 of the original.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think you watched 5.
I think I watched episode 4 of the original because I went on and downloaded episode 4 and watched it offline. And it's been so fucking long since I watched the original that I was like, why are they doing this flashback thing? This is really weird.
Yeah,
so, like,
I see this line, Dimple decides to study Mob's life and get to know him so Mob will trust him. And I'm like, whoa, what?
I know, and I was like, I was typing like, I was so confused at first because I was like, why are they going back to the way things were? And then I realized it was a flashback. And I guess they could have done a better job.
Bcom, do you and I want to see how well we can pull this from memory?
Yeah, I think we can pull it mostly out of our ass. Like just like the general strokes of the episode, at least. Like,
yeah, like, so you said they got invited to like a mansion. And when they get there was like a ton of other extras. There was also our new extras friend, Shinra. He was there too.
Yeah.
Basically the main guy, the guy who invited him on is a rich guy, but his daughter, he thinks his daughter is possessed and she's like locked into this room right behind him and like,
she's like in a glass like room. She's got like constraints on. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, she's the bad guy. Like I was like, they're gonna make it seem like her dad's the bad guy, but she's the bad guy actually. Like I immediately was thinking.
Yeah, and then he's like, I need you guys to exercise her, and so they all, well, not all, but then like Regan decides like, okay, we'll do it over paper rock scissors, and he's like wins, and he's like, I never lose a paper rock scissors.
Yeah, he just put up scissors. How did every other guy in the room not put up like a single rock?
Well,
he beat
did
everyone.
He say like I'm going to do paper, and he pulls up scissors, and like everybody just fucks up.
Yeah, just by suggestion, he got all of them to choose it. Yeah.
So he goes into the room first, and he's talking to the girl, and he's asking her questions, and she's like, I don't know what's going on. My father suddenly had me like chained to a bed and whatnot. But then he comes out, and he's like, no, she's the monster in there. And from his conversation, he figured out a bunch of things like, I never introduced myself to her as a psychic. She somehow knew, yada, yada, yada. She also knew things that were said and done outside her room and she wasn't supposed to, so she somehow did. Mm-hmm. But, there was a funny scene just before that where he came out and when he was in there talking to her, and she's like, and then he hired people to come and touch me. So like everybody's slowly turning against that guy. But then he comes out and he figures those things out, and then the girl's like, all right, I'm done fucking with this. And then she starts going all crazy.
Oh, she changed her speech patterns. Like, she first called her dad Papa, and then she later called him Dad. Yeah. And then there was something else. Like, it was like,
he knew he was a psychic, and he never introduced himself as a psychic.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a couple other things. It was actually kind of clever.
Yeah, Reagan's really clever when he tries.
Yeah.
That's what I took away from that.
Yeah. And then, but Dimple recognizes the demon that's possessing the girl.
Yeah.
And he tells the backstory about how, like, he was haunting this one place, and this one guy showed up to exorcise him. But this guy, he apparently did, like, nice stuff all the time, but he was secretly, like, an assassin or something. Mm-hmm. And it just made him basically go crazy, and he had, like, really strong psychic powers. So he was wanting to consume Dimple, so to, you know, take his powers for his own and become an evil spirit. So that's what the evil spirit is, possessing this girl. And then basically all kinds of crazy shit goes down.
Well, like, Mom tries to, like, help, right, by fighting the guy, but, like, he makes it worse. Like, the spirit, like, of, like, Mogami or whatever his name is, like, fuses into the girl.
Oh.
And then Mom's like, the only way I can get him out of there now is if I can go inside of that body. And so he's like, I need to have an out-of-body experience.
Okay. I was like, oh, yeah. And then it gets pervy.
No, because when he does go inside, he sees the embodiment of the guy.
Yeah.
And, like, they have some good words back and forth. And it looks like Mob's going to win, but then the other guy just kind of out of nowhere completely overpowers Mob.
Yeah.
And then they end the episode, and he's making Mob experience his way of life, like exactly what it was if he didn't have his powers. And he's trying to teach him a lesson, right?
For the next episode, it looks like he's gonna, like,
that's how it ended, was him just, like, one day being like, oh, I'm going to school and I don't have powers. And that was how it ended.
But isn't that kind of what Mob has wanted all along?
Yes.
Like, not to have powers. So I don't really know if that's going to teach him a lesson, because, like...
But yeah, Mob has also been worried about, like, you know, last episode when he was like, oh, if I was to go on, like, a human killing spree, who would be powerful enough to stop me? And it's like, oh, this guy. Like, so there is at least one guy who can, like, force him to, like, reconsider.
Okay. That's probably just a relief.
My predicament is, like, the evil spirit, when he sees Mob is not breaking under this, that he, in some own way, learns his own lesson. Either that or Mob goes 100% and kicks his ass.
Yeah.
For some reason. But.
Also, why is it whenever you have, like, these out-of-body experiences, like, say in this, when Mob is, like, naked inside of the guy's, like, body or whatever, or in Run with the Wind, when, like, Haiji is watching Kakeru this episode and he's, like, running naked, why don't these guys ever have a dick? Like, just admit that humans have dicks.
It's not appropriate.
Why is it not appropriate?
They can't put a dick there. Where are they going to put it?
It's art, Kat.
Japanese people aren't going to put a dick on there. They can't even have porn with dicks. They have to censor the pubic hair.
It's just so weird. Like, every single time, like, in every anime, whenever there's, like, the guy is having, like, a spiritual experience and it's like he's floating naked, and I'm just like, look, he's no dick.
Well, they do it with the girls too. Like, they have this weird fog always around their tits. Like, suddenly they've grown, like, their own atmosphere, like, around their chest area, and it's like, no, we know they have tits. Like, we're not stupid. Like,
dude, I'm going over your notes, Kat, and you can see you in little snippets like, well, why is he thinking that way? Why do you do that?
I know. I kept being like, but I feel like they've already covered this. And then I'm like, go back.
That's really funny.
You don't understand how relieved I was when Bcom goes, did you watch the right episode? I was like, because I was like, did I watch the wrong episode?
Yeah, same. Well, I was also thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, fuck. I was laughing also because, like, we always think of, like, Reagan as, like, a joke psychic, you know, and he kind of is. But then we see this room filled of, like, all these other joke psychics who are at this mansion. Like, there's just one huge guy wearing, like, a bikini. He looks like Terry Crews or something, and, like, flexing. And, like, there's all these other guys with, like, cat ears on and, like, beards. It's just, like, man, these psychics.
So apparently the theme for this week, and I feel like almost every week of a seasonal anime, there's a theme, right? The theme for this week is cat ears.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Goddamn, Kaguya went fucking ham on the cat ears today. We'll get to that.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. Well, that was fun. That was a fun impromptu review.
Well, I'll probably just have to hijack one of your reviews or something and be like,
Yeah.
yeah. But
So-
that was interesting.
Tuesday, we've got Run with the Wind, episode 15, Place of Destiny. So the guys have started to get some publicity. Like, their picture and, like, the story of their team is, like, in the newspaper and everything. And they're getting, like, really excited about, like, a TV interview that they're basically going to do for the Hakone as well, or the qualifier at least. And some of the guys are excited because, like, their parents have, like, seen the stuff in the newspaper, like they would, and they're, like, really proud of them. Though they make it a point to say, like they show that Yuki doesn't really, he isn't feeling the same way. Like, he definitely doesn't, like, have that same relationship with his parents. Like, we find later in the episode, he ignores this call from his mom, and then when he finally does talk to them, like, I think it's Haiji, maybe it's Kakeru, I can't remember. One of them overhears him.
It's Kakeru.
And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, they've been bugging me because I haven't seen them in a long time. And they saw the
Doesn't
paper.
he say, like, it doesn't have anything to do with you?
Yeah,
at one
basically.
point? It kind of makes me wonder, like, I'm sure they're going to go into it because
Yeah.
they wouldn't even bring it up.
It'll
It
probably
makes
be
me think,
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say it's going to be a way of making him have an emotional moment later in the show when his parents, like, show up for the race or something.
Maybe.
or yeah, like, it just made me think maybe there was some sort of rift, like he decided to do something against their wishes or something.
Yeah. It seems like
That'd
the
be
kind of guy
interesting.
who would do that.
Yeah.
Oh, we finally got clarification on what the fuck Musa was talking about in the bath last
He
episode when
acts so weird during this scene.
It's so weird.
Oh, I know. Like, why did they make him act like this? It's almost like they wanted to act like he was gay.
Yeah, in that
Or
scene.
something?
But now he's like, all right, so what I saw, and it's confirmed now, is that Hanako is in love with one of the twins, apparently. And, like, so...
But he's like, ooh, but which one? We don't know. And, like, he had this weird attitude. Like, that's not Musa. Like, what the
it was so out of character for him.
I also feel like he's just probably wrong. Like, I don't know, maybe he's not, because, like, later on in the show, I think, like Hanako's at the race, and she does see one of the twins, and she gets, like, kind of blushy, but, like, it was very subtle, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe
I think
he's
you'll
right.
find out that she likes, like, she just doesn't even like either of them. She just likes the idea of them. Or something.
So yeah, there's like 2 weeks until the qualifier for the Hakone, and it's going to take place at this JSDF military base. But before they get started, Haiji asks Kakeru if he feels like, should I have forced the guys to run even more, you think?
Oh, like on the train. Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, come on.
He's like doubting himself. He's like, because he's comparing himself to like the other schools that they're going to be running against, which apparently have an even more crazy running program,
There's
Leo.
no way anyone has a more crazy fucking schedule than they had. People would be dropping dead in the street. Like, they'd be cleaning them up like the plague doctor.
Oh my God, this
in the
kills
Middle
me.
Ages.
This has killed me because later on, Haiji has a great line. I'm going to wait till we get there.
Okay. Yeah, it's just like they come to the conclusion that people run only from their free will, like Kakeru and Haiji are talking about this. So like forcing them to run just makes it miserable. Like, but yeah, I don't know about that one because like you do have to have like some kind of regiment. Like they do force these guys to run at first. Like it does work. I don't know, but at this point they're running because they want to. They have this guy filming them, by the way, as they go through like the final days of practice before the qualifier for like this TV documentary or interview, I guess. And it's pretty funny because he's constantly like, what is wrong with these guys?
Yeah.
Haiji does this whole speech about how they should forge their bodies like tempered katana blades leading up to the day of the race. And then he's like, the cameraman's like, but they're drinking beer and eating a bunch of crappy food like 2 days before. Like, this doesn't fit at all.
Doesn't one of the guys tell him that, like, yeah, that's just how we do things?
Yeah, exactly. And then like their old coach guy, who, by the way, had this weird scene in the very beginning of the show where he like jumps up and like starts running. I think it's when he hears the bath is ready or something. I don't know. But he moves so fast, it's ridiculous. But he tells him like the secret to his success and his running success is to just alternate feet, left, right. That's it. And if you keep doing that, you'll eventually get to the finish line.
Yeah.
Great advice. Fucking amazing.
I think they probably figured that one out already.
Maybe. I don't know. It's good to think about the little things. It's rainy on the day of the qualifier. They apparently are going to need a combined time of like 10 hours and 10 minutes between all of the runners who are running at the same time to make the race. They also got these new sky blue tracksuits from Hanako's dad in like the shopping center and everything, who pitched in. But yeah, so they have to run it like basically 3 minutes per kilometer for 20 kilometers, which is like, just thinking about that makes me like break out in a cold sweat. I do not envy these guys. We found out from Haiji in the coach's talk at the beginning of the episode that like only 3 of the guys were running 30-minute 10Ks. So stretching it to 20K is going to be tough for them to keep it under an hour or like just over an hour each. So like the more serious college teams, they have all like 12 runners each in the race, from which the top 10 times will be taken. And of course, Kansei, they only have 10 because they just got 10 guys. So if any of them doesn't finish, they're done. They just don't set a record.
Doesn't finish or gets injured, yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice for the top teams because they have like 2 insurance policies, basically. Like if 2 guys screw up or can't make the race or fail or whatever, the top 10 can still make it. So they get lined up to start the race, and there's a cute moment where Haiji's like, guys, I forgot the Mountains of a Hakone chant thing. And so they kind of like whisper it to each other. It's cute. And I like how it's like the last 10 seconds of the race are counted down. It cuts to each of the 10 guys. It was good. Like a little good camera work. And then Hanako is like running back and forth. Like, so they start the race and like she's like running to different sides of this airstrip where the race starts with the first few laps, before moving outwards into the rest of like the town sort of. And she's like running back and forth to like yell at them like, hey, the lead group is like running at a 2:49 pace. Don't try to keep up with them. They're going to slow down, blah, blah, blah. And that's like the second time she yells that. I think one of the twins is there, maybe both of them. And she kind of like says like, I hope they don't lose, and like gets blushy. And so, yeah, the episode kind of ends like abruptly with some runner who's not on their team like crashing into this table of water cups. Like, dude, how do you crash into this table? Maybe he got like jostled. I don't know.
Well, I'm imagining that happens a lot, though.
Like, I guess.
It's kind of like how in bicycle races, people collide with each other and stuff, like at rest stops, because they want to like idle kind of and get water and stuff.
Well, I was thinking like, so a lot of the lead runners, like they take their sip of water and then they just throw the cup like on the ground, like right on the track. And I'm like, throw it off the track. What are you doing? Why are you throwing it on the track where people are going to run over it?
They threw it to the ground.
But like directly where people are going to be running. That seems like the dumbest thing ever. I don't know. I was kind of pissed off. So maybe he slipped on one of those cups and I missed it.
So there was a throwaway scene that you didn't cover, and that was Haiji and Kakeru. They're like on a train going back, and Haiji's like, what if I didn't do enough job? And he turns to Kakeru and he goes, what if I should have had them, forced them to run more? And I fucking lost my shit.
Oh, Leo, dude, I did talk about that. I thought you...
I missed that.
That's okay. But yeah, no, I thought you were going to go nuts when I said that.
Dude, I don't know how I missed that then.
Oh, that's okay.
Anyways, that happened. I like didn't even like I just paused it real quick and just kind of stared at the screen and then just started like nervously laughing. Like, how can this show do this? It was so absurd.
Oh,
it is kind of insane that he thinks like maybe I should have made them run more. That's the thing he thinks.
And the dramatic ending stuff like has to end at some point. You can't have a dramatic ending every fucking episode where it's like, and what will happen next? Will they die a terrible death?
Yeah, like, is Haiji gonna trip over this guy who fell? I don't know. Yeah. Come back next week.
I'm gonna go say he's gonna go to hurdle him, and it's gonna hurt his injury.
Oh,
that's what I think it's gonna be a miraculous, like he's gonna dodge it somehow, and everyone's gonna be like, woo! And then, like later on, he'll fall in another way, and that's when he'll actually injure himself.
If he was one of the kids from the Promised Neverland, he would just parkour over that shit, no problem. Like, easily. I don't know.
Probably do a barrel roll while he does it.
I like that we're
Maybe.
finally getting into like this race. I guess I assume they have to qualify. Like there's no point to this show if they don't qualify, so they have to qualify. So there's not much that they can do in terms of like drama, I guess. So
That is the one thing about sports shows is like you kind of know that they're going to win because like otherwise they can't keep going. So you almost have to suspend your disbelief.
yeah, like in Harakana Receive when the main two girls win against a team of
that's
professionals.
fucking bullshit. You know
Yeah.
what? I did think of that too. I just wasn't going to say anything. Thank you, Bcom.
And you're just like, this would never happen in real life. But like you're still cheering. You're like, woo. Yeah.
All right, Leo, tell us about our favorite girls.
Kemurikusa. Kat, do you like this show yet?
I'm trying. I feel like they keep trying to explain things to me. And every time they try to explain something, I'm more confused.
Oh, I'm not confused at all.
I will say
How are you not confused? We got all these fucking leaves and they're different shapes. And apparently when someone dies, someone else can use their fucking leaves?
No, not necessarily.
But isn't that what happens with the one thing that they're eating or whatever?
Who, Wakaba?
I don't
Or
know.
are you talking about Rina? She pulls out their own leaves and they can put them back.
And apparently they're eating each other?
Well,
or
they're
like parts of each
duplicate.
other?
It's weird. Yeah, that whole thing with the Rena thing was very weird. I
The
didn't
Rena-
fully understand
What?
that.
Has more to do that it has to do with her abilities being able to duplicate herself. Like I guess they can lend each other some energy or power or whatnot. So
Yeah.
What if someone in a fight, like you're fighting another group of kids in high school, someone turns to you and is like, "Hold on, I got this," and they just eat their own arm. You'd be like, "You're fucking insane." You wouldn't be like, "That's cool."
that is absolutely not what's happening in this show.
I mean, yeah, she rips off fucking pieces of herself and eats it.
Well, and they also
What?
become like little bugs, and that was really interesting to me because they seem like the bugs that they're fighting against, almost like the same type of thing.
Like they can drop Rena can drop like her own little bugs, and then like even if another Rena picks it up, if they eat it, it still goes back to the other Rena.
well, yeah.
So-
Well, there's all
Don't
these
get it.
scenes during the show where, like, say there's like a Rena standing on screen, and then one just like magically pops out of the back of her, like it was like she was standing perfectly behind, but then she'll like pop back in and just disappear, and then when the girl turns around, the second girl's not there anymore. So it's like there's very weird stuff going on with Rena. Where
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't notice that at all.
Yeah, it's really cute.
I don't know what you're
Like, I
talking
don't
about.
know.
So, okay, are the leaves their powers, or are they their life, like,
I think
source?
it's their life essence.
Yeah, it sustains them because Rin specifically says when they get in the fight later on, that like it's okay, it didn't hit my Kemurikusa, which sounds like if that had been hit, then she would have been over with.
Exactly.
Well, but then how does the Wakaba have, like, all these different Kemurikusa if they need them to live? I'm just so confused.
Well, he's been fighting different kinds of Kemurikusas around.
So
Yeah.
is he taking the Kemurikusa that he has from the dead ones that they've already fought?
No, he's just.
No.
Well, so he was given the gold one by one of the sisters because it used to belong to
Ritsu.
like their older sister, like Rio.
Oh,
Right.
she's
or-
dead, but the Kemurikusa is still there even though someone dies?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it
and
just
then
like
Okay.
loses its glowingness, which is its power. Then he's been collecting.
he's been
the,
collecting the rest. Yeah.
the blue ones, like they kind of like tend to grow in odd places and stuff like that. So, all right, let me get into the story here.
Okay.
Okay, because I'm like trying to understand, and I just feel like I get more confused.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot
I'll
of
be like
information.
the dumb reader who's like, "What?"
I think
you
we
guys
need
can
to
explain
watch
it to
the
me.
next episode together, and when you have a question, we can pause and I can explain it to
That would be
you.
pretty fun, actually.
So we open with everybody arriving to Island 3, and Ritsu tells Rina she has been to Island 5 before when she was just one person. She's just forgotten for whatever reason.
So she originally was just one person, and then she split up. So that's interesting.
So Wakaba has also figured out that he can make some of the non-glowing Kemurikusa glow again with like certain hand gestures and so on.
Jutsu.
Jutsu. Yeah, and Rina also shows off some of her talents and abilities. Like they can take the Kemurikusa in their bodies out, and they can also make like the balls on the bottom of their dress turn into like little bugs and like run around and do stuff for them. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then they come across 3 of the red bugs, and like Rin runs out and she defeats them really quickly, but she does it in a way we haven't seen her do yet. Like, she uses the Midori leaf. It turns into like a big blade, and she kills 2 of them that way. And then for the third one, she like absorbs it into her fist and then just like punches it, and that kills it.
And Wakaba's like, oh, so the green Midori leaf is like poisonous to the red bugs, which is interesting.
Yeah. But then again, the Rinas are sure to inform Wakaba that there are much bigger bugs called Nihiru. Right? Or is it Nushi?
Oh, it's Nushi. Nihiru is what Hyakimaru... Or wait, it's from Dororo episode. It's the name of the sword.
Yeah, I watched them and my notes are right next to each other, and I was like, that's not right. So they stop for the night, and they talk to some more about Riku. Man, this episode is the best. We're doing everything so messed up.
It's hilarious.
Rio was apparently the strongest out of them, and one of the Rinas is also like asleep, and that's because her Kemurikusa isn't glowing that brightly, and they need to eat a lot of things to get more energy.
Right.
They end up making it to the sky bridge the next day, and to get up to it, Rin has to basically pull them up, train car and all, so yeah, she's crazy strong.
Yeah.
Or how would you say it, Bcom?
Rin too strong. Like, I was like, how is she doing this? I was like, man, she is really strong, like lifting an entire friggin' train car from like what is like a very like thin little vine. And I was like, this is ridiculous. She's gonna get rope burn on her hands.
Ooh, sexy rope burn.
Not that kind of rope burn.
That's where Cat's brain went. Jesus
I
Christ.
was like, ooh, I heard someone say rope. What?
Well, you're gonna hear it in Promised Neverland too. Wow, there's lots of like running themes this episode. Lots of ropes. Lots of
So
everything.
as they make their way
Lots
across,
of things being tied together.
Oh yeah.
oh God. Wakaba seems to sense something just before the bridge starts to shake. And after it stops shaking, Rin barely like dodges this like red beam that just comes ripping through. But it did get her like right arm and like took it off at the elbow. And it turns out it's a Nushi, and it's coming for them. So they're like
It's
running
a big
away.
ass one too.
It's cool. I liked his design a little bit. He's like a giant centipede type thing, shooting big lasers out of his face.
It reminded me of like video game stuff that you fight. Like, I don't know, but yeah, it reminded me of like a Shadow of the Colossus like little thing or something from Nier Automata. But yeah, it was really cool.
Yep, they're running away as it keeps firing its beam and taking like chunks out of the bridge. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, is the bridge going to come down? Jesus Christ. And then at one point, Wakaba somehow knows it's going to stop for some reason, and they use that as a chance to hide. But what Wakaba noticed was that it was reacting to some Kemurikusa that he had dropped, and it stopped to target some. So he suggests using them as decoys so that Rin can take it out. So what they do is they use Rina's little bugs things and gives them all some of the Midori leaves and has them run out and distract the Nushi, and they're like running around, and it's like trying to get him in every stuff, and it buys enough time for Rin to get right up to it and literally knock its head off.
Yeah.
But even with its head off, it fires one last beam at like the sleeping Rina, and Wakaba jumps in front of it, holding up a couple of the different colored Kemurikusa, and one of them just happens to throw up a shield, and it manages to block it. He's not sure which one it was, but you see one of the blue-leafed ones fading away afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So they continue on their way to Island 4 that they have not explored all of and might still contain some water. Then there's just this little tiny scene after credits of a small bug coming out of the Nushi and says, Administrator color detected. And also, the bug itself is not like the red hostile bugs. So, I'm pretty sure they're referring to Wakaba.
I mean, I guess, but like, are we really supposed to believe that this meek as fuck dude who like cringes and cries every time someone says boo behind him is an administrator?
Maybe. I don't know. I assume though, because like he is so weird. But maybe they just administrator color might just be that yellow Kemurikusa that he has, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't really know. It just kind of ends.
Because I think the screen on that bug, or on the little bug that crawls out of the Nushi,
it was
is
like
yellow.
Orangish yellow.
Yeah. So that might make sense. I don't know. But
Maybe.
Wakaba also, I like that he's becoming more useful and less annoying as the show goes on.
Very true.
Because he was pretty annoying the first couple episodes, and he's calmed down a little bit and sort of settled in. He's not like screaming at everything now. So that's nice. And yeah, I liked how they used the strategy in that fight against the huge ass bug. It was pretty cool. It didn't go exactly how I expected it would, so it surprised me a little bit. I liked it.
Any more questions, Kat?
I just kept trying to figure out what was going on and I couldn't. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. I just feel like this whole system of these weird leaf things is just weird and bizarre, and I don't really think I don't know. Maybe it'll get better.
It's, as Bcom kind of mentioned earlier, it's kind of very video gamey, so that probably gives Bcom and I a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah,
of why we understand it maybe a little bit better.
That is true. Maybe that's why. Because I did think that the fight scene in this episode was very video gamey. It felt kind of like a video game fight.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely did.
And then I also noticed that like the ending song is basically a Vocaloid song, which I think is an interesting choice. Like I hadn't listened to the whole ending before, and I was listening to it, and I was like, "This is like one of those Vocaloid songs I used to listen to in high school." Like, did you guys ever get into that?
Vocaloid stuff. I never really got into it. I did buy a Hatsune Miku rhythm game at one point just for fun, but I never really got into like the actual music. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was super into Gakabo for a while, but yeah, no, and I don't know what Vocaloid it is, but they're definitely using a Vocaloid for that ending song, which is an interesting choice because like that's kind of out of fashion now. So
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of some kids that'd probably be really good at video games.
Oh yeah, these geniuses from the Promised Neverland. Yeah. Episode 4, 291045, as it's called. I still haven't figured out what these numbers mean at the beginning of episodes. I don't know.
I think is it the numbers on the side of their necks?
But I haven't matched them up, so maybe it is, but I usually don't see like all of the numbers on the kids' necks. I'd have to see like a big list of their numbers, but I'm afraid that would be spoilery, so I don't know. So
maybe.
This episode opens up with Isabella just threatening the shit out of Crone. Telling her like, stop trying to figure out which kid knows the secrets and just focus on being my pawn because that's all you need to do. And like if she does this and doesn't screw up again, Isabella will be sure that Crone becomes a mom one day.
See, and this is why I think mom is different than caretaker. Like there's something about the mom role that's different. Don't you think?
I don't think so. Well, I mean, Crone is working under the mom as like a caretaker, I suppose. I don't know. In that sense, I think they're different. But.
It's a title rank, yeah.
Yeah. So she's saying, I'll give you your own like little food farm one day if you're a good girl.
Or put in a good enough word that she can be promoted or something like that. Yeah.
Crone did not like this, though. Like, yeah.
Holy shit, yeah. For someone who's like, oh, I really want to be a mom one day, she like fucking goes back and just rips the fuck out of that baby doll.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I would hate to see you be an actual mom, because holy shit. And that would be bad.
Like, this, like, lends more credence to that theory that, like, I feel like Crone was originally one of Mom's, or Isabella's, like, kids who like left and has come back, and like because she gets way too angry at this. I don't know, and like I feel like that doll that she has that's so beat up is probably the doll she had when she was a kid, and she still like hangs on to it. But
yeah, I agree with that. I think it's very much like I have power now, and you're not going to take away my power anymore.
Exactly.
Type of very violent response.
Yeah, so she wants to take down Isabella now, basically.
Well, because she is a smart character. Like when she's not having these violent reactions, and she really only has those reactions with Isabella. Mm-hmm. Like she is a smart character. She has like good intelligence.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So it has to be something. It would make sense that Isabella raised her.
I think so.
For her to have that violent reaction. You're right, Bcom.
So Ray and Norman decide they're going to start playing tag in teams made up of like small formations. So this will like more closely mimic what they would do in the actual escape that they're planning. And Norman also feels like, all right, we need to tell Don and Gilda what's going on because we need more help to like organize this. And, you know, Ray's like, well, yeah, but what if they're the traitor? And so Norman's like, well, first of all, I feel like I can win them over. And then I also have a plan, basically. And it's funny because also like Norman tells Emma he like suspects like Phil the tiny little kid a little bit because he has a high score of around like 203. I don't know how they calculate these scores, but whatever. He has a high score. And he's always around mom and stuff, and he's good at escaping during tag. And Emma's just like, what? I can't handle this. I can't, like, suspect everyone, blah, blah, blah. But, like, yeah, Norman tells him that, like, they're going to carry out their escape plan in 10 days on November 8th, which is, like, way earlier than they expect to be shipped out next. They think they have, like, a month and a half, but he wants to stay one step ahead of mom at all times. And so this is the way of doing that.
See, and I think that's actually a really smart plan. Because, like, of course, they would expect... You don't want them to dictate when you're going to leave.
Exactly.
That makes total sense to me.
And the 10 days is just based on, like, Ray says he only needs 10 days to break the tracking devices, or prepare to break them, basically, or whatever. But, like, Ray kind of, like, gets angry at this, because he's like, oh, this seems like a bad idea. We don't have enough time, or whatever. And so that night, there's a super long first-person tracking shot as Emma, Ray, and Norman walk upstairs.
I did not know I needed my VR headset for this episode.
It went on for so long. It served absolutely no purpose.
I was sitting there going, what? I was like, okay, what's the reason they're doing this? What's the reason they're doing this? And it just kind of eventually ends. And I'm like, what was that about?
Yeah, I thought they wanted to build tension, but it didn't really work. And then, like, they just opened the door, and it's just, like, Don and Gilda sitting there. It was no point to it whatsoever. And so they tell Don and Gilda what's happening, sort of. They don't tell them the full story. They just say that, like, oh, our fellow children have been sold off to bad people, human traffickers. So they're not telling them that they're, like, being killed and eaten. They're, like, making it a little easier on them. And Don is, like, really resistant to the idea that mom would do anything like this to them. Like, he really loves her, and he doesn't want to believe this, but Gilda kind of convinces him when he says that, like, or when she says that Emma loves mom and loves everybody here, and she wouldn't lie about something like this. And also, when they went to the gate that night that Connie left, Gilda saw them, and she knows that, like, usually they would apologize for breaking the rules, but ever after they came back, they've gotten more and more serious and distant. So she knows that something is up. And so that makes sense to her. So also, Norman had Emma and Ray look into the scores of the kids like Connie, who had left recently. And you see this, like, big chart of, like, all their scores and their ages. And, like, Connie and a bunch of, like, 6 and 7-year-olds are the ones that have recently been shipped out. And they all had scores that were very low, like between 110 and 120. And so clearly these are, like, the crops that would not pan out into high quality goods. So they just got shipped out early. So Ray's
like, let's just cut our losses now.
Yeah, exactly. This is never going to grow into anything. But, like, you see the scores down the page, like Phil has a 203 and, like, a bunch have, like, 180s, 170s, 190s. Ray is annoyed at Norman for not telling the whole truth to, like, Don and Gilda, and giving them, like, false hope that, like,
Ray needs
people have
to
survived.
Like, suck it up. Like, she's too nice. Like, I don't know. I get it, but come on.
Yeah.
Come on, girl.
I don't know. This is Ray's the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
he's the Sasuke guy.
Oh, that's right. Well, but also,
Emma does need to suck it up.
Emma is pissed off too. Ray is just also pissed off.
Emma's gonna have, like, a rude awakening at some point. I feel like you're totally right about that. Like, she's trying to be too idealistic about all this.
I don't know. Like, at some point, I think she's gonna have, like, a mind break. Yeah. Emma is, and she's gonna be like, something's gonna happen. She's gonna have a change of heart. She's gonna become, like, slightly different, I think.
And so Norman tells Ray, so I've set this trap for Don and Gilda. I've hidden this rope, and I've told Don that it's under my bed, and I've told Gilda that it's in the ceiling of the second floor bathroom. So if either of these ropes goes missing, we'll know how to trace which traitor it was. And he also says, I have a plan, also like a third plan, if neither of them are the traitor. So that night, someone slides a note under Mom's door. It says the rope is hidden under Norman's bed. So that would implicate Don.
It's Don, yes.
Yeah. So Emma also hears Gilda get out of bed and go to, like, visit Crone in the middle of the night. And, like, Emma, like, gets up and goes to eavesdrop, like, silently, and hears Gilda tell Crone, everything's fine. There's no issues. Like, what I was complaining about to you, don't worry about it. And Crone like really like presses into Gilda though, because like she knows she has something. And she's like, well, is it that, do you know everything that Emma told you and that Norman and Ray are involved with? And like really like tries to get her to like crack, and Gilda like pushes her away and says like, I don't know what you're talking about. I only had a fight with Emma. That's everything I know. And just like leaves. And Crone is like super pissed that like she couldn't get information out of Gilda, like the most likely one to crack of any of them, most likely. So yeah. Norman asks Ray like why he thinks a traitor would work with Mom against the others. And Ray suspects, well, maybe it's for like a guarantee of safety, like not getting shipped out. And
yeah, I was actually already having this thought and coming to this conclusion before we got here. So I was like, okay,
I mean,
nice.
That's the only reason you would.
Yeah,
in this situation.
And yeah, and Norman asks Emma if someone was betraying them for those reasons, if she'd still want to take them on their escape. And Emma says yes, because like if they escape, the protection of the person who was the traitor would not be guaranteed anymore. And she wants to believe that none of their siblings is a bad person and that they can all survive. And
yeah, but then there's nothing stopping that person from like sabotaging their escape in the process. So like like you said, Emma's being way too positive about this shit.
At a certain point, Emma's gonna have to make a real choice. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I get what she means, but like, I was really curious about your theories on what happens next. So like, okay, when you get to it.
So Norman and Ray check the bathroom to find the rope has not been taken, and then they check under Norman's bed and find nothing. And so that would seem to corroborate that Don has taken the rope, because that he was the one who supposedly knew that where the rope was. And Ray concludes the traitor must be Don. And Norman turns to Ray and says, so you're the traitor, Ray. And so I actually immediately knew what happened, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
That, like,
I came to the same conclusion.
Yeah, like Norman, the only people who knew about this were Norman, Ray, and supposedly Don and Gilda. But that means Ray is somebody who knew. So Ray is the one. Like Norman tricked Ray here into thinking that he was trying to like search for Don and Gilda as traitors, and he kind of was, but at the same time he was trying to check if Ray is a traitor. Well,
because when Norman told Ray all of that, I was thinking to myself, why is he telling Ray this?
Exactly.
And I kept thinking it's either so that if Norman dies unexpectedly, that Ray would also know, or it's that he suspects him.
Yeah.
But then in my brain, I kept thinking, and I was like, no, I feel like this is too easy. And I kept being suspicious of Norman, not Ray.
Oh, interesting.
And because I always feel like the characters that are the most nice, like, you can't trust those fucking characters. Like, the ones that are very calm and nice.
Yeah.
And whereas Ray is, like, kind of an asshole, but, like, sincere. Like, he wants them to know the whole truth and stuff. So for some reason, I just can't trust Norman, and I keep thinking to myself like, "Oh, it's Norman. He's gonna turn on them." Oh,
okay. So I didn't suspect that, but I did. So I was kind of guessing Norman. Okay, so he obviously either never told Don about the rope or gave him a different location,
right? And
probably the same thing with Gilda. But then again, what tipped Norman off in the first place to suspect Ray?
That's a good question.
Really think of anything.
It may just be Ray's like entire attitude.
Yeah, but then he'd be. I mean, then he would still like run a test for Emma, even though she would be the most less likely. Maybe he just wanted to run a test on Ray just to be absolutely sure that Ray was loyal. Because if Ray's not loyal, then their whole plan is fucked.
Or maybe it's all a plot to deflect suspicion off of himself.
I mean, you could be right. Like, Norman definitely is very smart. Like, he could definitely be a suspicious actor here. He's definitely not free from suspicion at all.
Yeah, hold on. Ruby, stop chewing on your fucking femur bone. Stop it. Nobody wants to hear it.
Damn it, Ruby.
Sorry, my dog's like gnawing on this fucking femur of a cow I gave her.
Well, I don't think it's picking it up though. So
yeah, that just means it's time
not.
It's time for a break, so Kat can go like scold her dog a little bit more.
Go put the fucking bone in another room so you don't have to hear it. Yeah,
there you go.
All right, so we'll come back after these messages from our fellow podcasters.
Yeah, I'll see you soon.
The following is an extract from Reanimator Pod episode 47, Blood, Blood, Blood. Taka discusses Des Irae.
Most of the characters in the show, particularly the villains, have more than one name, like many more than one. For example, the super powerful mage from my synopsis is Karl Kraft, also known as Mercurius, also known as Faust, also known as Saint Germain, also known as Paracelsus, also known as Cagliostro, also known as Copophilius Smudge. Woo! Okay, that last one is a Reanimator special, but the rest are all legit. Like, he actually has those names. How about a few more?
He's got more names?
No, they're other characters. He actually had that many names, though. Wilhelm Ehrenberg is Kazikli Bey, because why not? Valeria Trifa is Christoph Lohengrin, who's a priest and is commonly referred to as Father. Lord Heydrich is also Reinhard, and Teresia is Rhea, but Fujiren, aka Zarathustra, is our main character, and also refers to Rhea as Senpai. So we never really learn her name until other characters start calling her Rhea. But really her name's Teresia, so I don't really know how that adds up. Ugh.
And if you like that and you want to hear more from the Reanimator Pod, head on over to reanimatorpod.com. That's reanimatorpod.com. New episodes are out every Monday.
Don't drop that. Hey, don't drop that.
Hey, dude, you into anime, manga, and all that radical stuff?
Oh yeah, man, it's tubular.
Then you should totally check out the...
This transmission has been hacked. If you want discussions, debate, reviews, and all in between, you must listen to the Anime Radicals Network at www.animeradicals.com. There's timely reviews, revolutions, mecha, and much more. Find it on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and all podcast catchers. The Anime Radicals Network.
The revolution will be simulcast.
And we're back, and Kat is done being tag-teamed by her dog and cat.
That sounds so disgusting.
That was the words out of your mouth.
Cat's just like, my God, my cat and dog are tag teaming me, guys. My house is a zoo. And I'm like, that doesn't sound like a zoo. I don't know.
No, it sounds like some other kind of
What
zoo.
zoos
that
are
I
you
wanna go
visiting?
to. Oh wait, now I'm just imagining like a zoo full of sexy like call girls just in cages posed with like different animal costumes on.
Is
Oh
it
my
called
God.
The Animal House?
Ooh.
But
Yeah, right.
That actually would be a really good theme for like a whorehouse somewhere.
what, the Animal House whorehouse?
No, like a zoo.
Oh.
Like, and just have all the different cages, like have a different animal in it. Someone needs to pay me to copyright that idea.
That idea, I am guaranteeing exists already somewhere.
Well, if any of you know, now I don't know if I want to get tagged on social media. There is a whorehouse like that. It's in this country.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so there's another show that's just as bizarre as that. Bcom.
Yes.
JoJo. JoJo. It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 5, Golden Wind. Or Gold Experience, I guess.
I'm so proud I've convinced you two to start watching this.
I had a lot of fun with this episode because
It was
good.
weird though. I don't think I've ever seen such a weird stand. Although I mean, this is my first JoJo anime, but like, what the fuck is this stand?
Yes, this is episode 17 called Baby
almost-
Head, but it's
Okay.
actually
It
Baby
almost
Face.
feels like a cheat. It almost feels like this stand shouldn't be allowed.
So,
It seems pretty powerful,
Kat, I will
Yes.
tell you, out of all the JoJo I've seen, this one is a little bit unique.
Mhm.
He just kind of how the way the interface works with like the suitcase and then the other part of the stand, but then it like has kind of a mind of its own. It's very different than most other stands. So
Yeah.
you're not the only one.
Okay, because I was like, this feels like cheating. This feels overpowered.
So we get our first introduction to Melone in this scene, who kind of seems like an asshole.
Do we know what Melone means?
Melon. Melon.
Oh,
in
okay.
Italian.
I should have guessed that.
He goes
Oh,
up to this
shit.
rich young woman on the train, right? And he pulls out, like, this, Leo Kaz said, this, like, suitcase laptop, basically. And he
It's
starts,
like a
like,
spy device from like a 1970s Bond film.
Exactly,
Yeah, pretty much.
And it has, like, a hole where he can insert, he takes, like, a blood sample of Bruno's blood, and he stuffs it in there, and then he starts, like, talking to this woman about, like, oh, what's your blood type? How old are you? And, like, finds out, like, she's a 24-year-old girl. and she's in excellent health because he can tell because she slaps him across the face at one point. And she's like a type O Pisces. And he's like, oh, Bucciarati is a type A Aries. You couldn't possibly be a worse match, which is perfect for my use.
Oh my god.
And so like Malone like asks the girl like, so here's like a bunch of images of the Kama Sutra. It's very important to me that you like the way that I'm going to impregnate you with this laptop. And so,
oh, I know. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Like when he started doing that shit, I was like, what's about to happen in this episode? Oh no.
We don't need any more rape shows this season.
I know.
And like it frames this whole early scene like it's gonna be a rape because like the laptop grows like arms and legs, like almost like tentacles, and then like Cabadon's like the frickin' train window, like breaking it, cracking it. And like they cut from that scene as like she starts screaming, and I'm like, oh man, this is really bad. This is almost as bad as when I go shopping for laptops at the Apple store. Like it's almost as bad as that.
Oh shit.
It's almost as expensive.
I'm just imagining Bcom crying, like limping out of the store.
Exactly.
Cradling his bleeding ass. Like,
$2,600 for a fucking MacBook Pro. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, meanwhile, our favorite turtle boys are road tripping it with some truck driver on the way to Venice. Unfortunately, 2 of the Sex Pistol bullets like steal the truck driver's burger because they're hungry, which tips off the driver that like something's under his seat and it's a turtle. And he's like looking at it and he's like, this turtle has a key in its back. And like as he looks at the key, Mista, who is posing on a chair.
It just cuts to them in there and they're talking, and in the background is just Mista posed, standing on a chair with one of his feet on the back of it. And he's just like, with his chin on his fist, and he's just like looking up, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing back there? I just literally paused and just laughed because I was like, this is why this show's so fucking great. Just shit like that is just happening for like, it seemed like no apparent reason, but I guess he was supposed to be keeping watch, but still the way he was keeping watch is still hilarious.
It was bizarre. Well, yeah, and then like he sees the truck driver like looking in, and he realizes like, oh fuck, this is my little baby's fault, because I really do feel like the Sex Pistols are basically his like children. And he's like, oh, I gotta hide this. I can't admit to this shit. And he like tries to fix the situation.
He basically panics and just punches him real quick.
Yeah, and his like little tiny arm comes out of the key and punches the guy in the face. It's hilarious.
Like, no, Mista, it will solve nothing. But you know,
and so like the truck crashes into like the highway shoulder, and they're stopped. And everybody else is just like, huh, what happened? They weren't even paying attention. Like they didn't see any of this.
And doesn't Bucciarati like look at him and be like, weren't you keeping watch? And Mista's like, no, I wasn't keeping watch. I was just posed this way for fun.
So we return to the train to find this 24-year-old woman who like wakes up and like checks herself, and like thank God she wasn't actually raped, because that would have made this episode very awkward.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Babyface, like the laptop interface does say like birth completed. And so the first question the laptop asks Malone is, what does kill mean? And so like, and I was just like, oh, babies, they're so cute. Like when I saw
so
that.
Fast. Asking us all the awkward questions.
And so like this conductor, like the woman calls like the conductor of the train to like bitch about what just happened to her and like the lack of security. And we also see there's like this weird, like tiny blue baby face thing that's crawling up her back. And so like the laptop is like remotely talking to the baby, basically. And so Malone pulls out a baby book and starts showing the laptop like pictures of animals. He's like, here's an elephant and here's a lion. And then he shows like a picture of like an elephant and a lion like tearing Bucciarati to shreds. And he's like, this is what killing means. So he also shows...
because that's not problematic or anything.
No, not at all. Yeah. He shows like the rest of the guys being killed by like ice skates and baseball bats. And he just says like, oh, like the one rule is like, you don't kill this girl Trish. Like, you don't kill her, you just capture her.
Wasn't he like, look how these things come together or something? And then like all the baseball bats and shit just are like destroying the people in grotesque fashion.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck?
And Babyface like sees all this. He's like, all right. And then he responds like, Devo fare PP, K Devo fare, which means I need to go pee-pee. What do I do? In Italian. And so he ends up peeing on the back of his mom's head. And she's like, what the fuck is this? But like she doesn't realize what's going on, really. She just thinks like a leak sprung or something in the ceiling.
Right.
So Babyface gets hungry next, and like Malone starts freaking out, like, no, it's too soon. Don't. But like he basically skewers his mom into tiny cubes and like basically eats her essentially, is like what's implied.
Yummy.
And then he jumps onto a motorcycle and heads up north, because we find out later that like when he uses those like his stand, like those cubes, like he's making something into a different object. I'm assuming he made his mom into a motorcycle. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what happened, but
No.
I think he takes living things and he makes them into inanimate objects.
Inanimate objects? Okay. So I don't know where the motorcycle came from then. Maybe it
So
was
it's
just
almost
conveniently
the
there.
No,
opposite
Malone
of,
had it. He wrote in on it at the end of the last
his motorcycle,
episode.
so he just steals it.
He just stole it, yeah.
Oh,
So
so
I
he
think
just-
the whole idea
yeah.
is that it's the opposite of Giovanna's talent
He
of
can
stand.
like take apart life when Giorno can create life.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so they're direct opposites.
So he gets just like bigger after eating his mom. So I assume like he takes her in as like part of his body then, basically.
Yeah, because he's technically an inanimate object. Like, because you learn that later when Giorno is using some of his stuff.
Right.
Like, yeah, so that would make sense. He can make himself bigger because he himself is not an animate thing.
So he's like tracking Bucciarati's DNA basically. And meanwhile, they're still stopped because the truck crashed. And Giorno's like, well, if we steal one car, they'll be real suspicious. They might be able to follow us. But if we stole 100 cars, and like, so he uses gold experience to like take all these cars and then like chop them up to pieces and turn them into frogs and send them like jumping away. So like they'll like turn back into pieces of cars, but they'll be all over the place.
Everywhere, yeah.
Yeah. And then they're like, he leaves one car for them to take. Also, Trish needs to go to the bathroom, and she's like, Bruno, how the hell do I go to the bathroom in this fucking turtle? And so he goes into the closet and like uses his zipper to open up a hole in the bottom of the closet. And he's like,
Oh, I know.
I don't know where this
Just
zipper
pee there.
goes, but maybe the turtle will get some nutrients if you like pee in there. And it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the turtle is not going to appreciate it, no matter where the fuck that goes.
So Babyface shows up and is able to attack Trish and Bruno like inside the turtle, even while like Giorno is like unwittingly holding this turtle in his hands at the same time. Like he doesn't see any of this going on. And he sends Gold Experience like inside of the key to like look for them because he notices they're missing. And like Giorno like also tries to like yell for help, but Babyface like uses his power to like take a cube out of Giorno's throat so he can't speak. So Giorno thinks fast and he like removes the key from the turtle, and like Melone is still talking on like the laptop suitcase, and what is it, like the Babyface stand like tells him like, oh, I've apparently only living things can leave the key, so like he would be trapped inside the key if like in any regular circumstances, because he's not technically living, he's a stand,
right.
but he's an inanimate. But then he's like, but I also chopped Giorno's eye out, which is like a living thing, and since I have that, I can get out. So that was really weird.
Yeah, that was like a weird caveat.
But like, so as he comes out, Giorno realizes like, oh, Babyface like turned into like the cabinet inside of the key room, and that like comes out of the key. And so like Gold Experience attacks again, but like Babyface dodges by splitting into these smaller pieces. And Babyface takes the key back from Giorno and puts it back into the turtle, like while he's like getting screwed. And like Giorno's like bleeding out at this point from like he's got like a piece of his leg and throat and eye all like bleeding. And so, but being on the verge of death, Giorno kind of understands like Babyface's stand a little bit better, and it gives him an idea of how he could use Gold Experience to like reverse the process of what Babyface is doing, basically like to turn items of like his own clothing like his button on his shirt into like replacements for the parts he's missing.
Like
so
his eye.
Yeah, his eye. Yeah, exactly. And so he fills in his throat and his eye and his leg by like giving life to these inanimate objects, and that's really weird. But hey, it's JoJo. And so like he's like, oh, I've done this, and then the Babyface is like, oh, Nani? And it's like, so he like just uses vines to like hold Babyface's motorcycle in place. And Babyface like avoids him by like turning into this gasoline that's leaking from the bike. And he tries to take down Giorno as he goes to like grab the turtle. But Gold Experience has grown a lot now. And like Giorno like removes his own wrist. And like the Babyface is like, where did it go? What are you doing? You like chopped off your own wrist, and then like it explodes out of the Babyface's chest, like the alien in Aliens, like, but it's like a piranha. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, so Babyface's, I think he can create inanimate objects, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he can take living things and make inanimate objects out of them.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I was just making sure I got that right.
I assume the two people who are kidnapped are somewhere in the room, like Trish and Bruno are probably inanimate objects somewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah,
in the key
possibly.
room.
I was really glad to see Gold Experience, like, it got leveled up because it really wasn't that much of an attack type. And I wondered how they were going to do that for the rest of the show. But
I'm interested to see how they develop it throughout the series, because like from what I understand, Dio had a lot of different abilities, and like he's supposed to have inherited all of that. And so it'll be interesting to see if he ever gets some of those, or like if the power works differently because he has it now, like what they're gonna do.
Yeah, for sure.
So I did some reading, you guys. I did some research.
I don't remember Dio having a lot of abilities. He just had one that was really great. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Well, I know what it is because I looked it up.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody else. But
what are you talking about? This is the Nerdom podcast. We
yeah, but we're not actually talking about that season. So I want to talk about Babyface though, because he may be a strong stand, but Melone or whatever, he can't really control it, and that to me is like a huge liability. And like this is like your last resort if you ever use that stand. So,
right? Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a good point.
So
that
maybe
he can't. Like he can only let it loose and like hope it does what he wants. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, he's like the one they send in where they're like, well, this might like kind of explode in our face, but it's worth a shot.
We've done everything else.
Yeah.
Oh man, crazy episode, but not as crazy as Domestic Girlfriend episode 4.
Oh,
I love how you guys wrote nothing. And I managed to put this into 3 paragraphs.
Yeah, I really like you. Just do it. I love your review of this episode, honestly.
So episode 4 is called "And What About You?" So the trash fuck siblings decide to stalk Hina.
I love it, the trash fuck siblings.
Rui and Natsuo, the trash fuck siblings, yes.
I've already told these guys, but to let the listeners know, as I was watching this, I paused in the middle and went to our private chat and was like, guys, this show's worse than I remember. I had that honest thought, like, oh, I don't remember it being this bad. But anyways, they are stalking Hina and try to catch her when she meets up with the guy she's having an affair with. First night is a bust when Hina just goes to a standing bar and drinks alone for 4 hours.
It's like, wouldn't you go up to your sister and be like, is something wrong?
Yeah,
You've been drinking for 4 hours.
I was like, girl, get yourself together. Like, what are you doing?
She seemed to be having a great time, though.
Yeah, she seemed
it
fine.
seemed like a recipe for like waking up in the morning and being like, where am I? Whose house am I in? Like,
as a teacher, this does not seem like the best idea.
I know, like it seems like a bad decision. I don't know. I was concerned for her.
The second night doesn't work out either when she goes to like a comedy show by herself.
Yeah.
But that I will endorse. Like, I mean, that's a fun time.
Yeah, she seems like a really fun person too, because she's like supporting this comedy show and like it's cool. She has friends. She has like a life. I like that they're like kind of fleshing out who she is as a character.
She likes her alone time.
I am all for people going out and getting plastered every once in a while. Just do it with friends. Just do it with people you know. Don't just go by yourself.
Third night is a dud also when she meets up with like a student of hers to give her advice on her future plans. And running out of options, the trash fuck siblings steal Hina's phone when she goes to the bath and calls the guy. Ruri is supposed to mimic her sister, but because she has social issues, freezes up when he answers. Oh yeah, there's my note. Wow, this anime is a lot worse than I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. That pissed me off. I was like, girl, you just talked about this.
Well, it's also, but like the whole situation kind of pissed me off because, like, one, like you shouldn't go about this way. Like, it's not your place to do this.
Well, because it's the sister's decision to do whatever the fuck she wants. Like, if she wants to ruin her life and date this dude and get involved in some mess, because if the wife doesn't know, it is some mess, right?
Yeah, even Fuji's friend Kurimoto goes and like eavesdrops on them whenever they're she's talking with the student just to see what they're talking about. I'm like, this is just so much trash shit going on right now.
I know. It's like, just leave them alone. Let them make their terrible life decisions. Like, if you've offered your advice to them and they don't want to take it, then just let them crash.
Or like, like ask her, like, bring this guy over. Like, let's make this like a legitimate thing. Let's sit down. Let's have a family dinner and let's like talk about this situation.
Oh my God, Bcom. Well, wouldn't you know? Because for convenience sake, as the trash fuck siblings are at the cafe moping, in walks in Hina and her pretty boy. And then they all
really is hot though.
And then
you
they
can see
all
why
sit
she wants
down.
To smash him.
Wow, this is exactly what you asked for, Bcom. They sit down and pretty boy like tries to explain himself, blah blah blah. Something about dating for 2 fucking years.
Okay, what? This dude is so fucking smug too.
Yeah, he is.
Like, so confident. I'm just like, do you hear what the words that are coming out of your mouth are right now? Like,
yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's exactly what like Natsuo and Fumiya were like joking about last episode. Like,
I know.
Like what he might say in like a situation like that, and it's like no, that's like exactly who he is.
Yeah, and it really is who he is, and I don't know. Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, wow, he really has the guts. He has the balls to just say that.
And it was really over dramatic, let's be honest, with like Natsuo getting like super angry at him and like
oh yeah.
You know, like Natsuo's like a kid, but like at the same time I understand why he's angry. And like to a certain extent he's right to be angry, like because this guy is clearly not respecting Hina. Like clearly.
It's also like white knight syndrome though.
Yes,
like I said.
Definitely.
Like she is allowed to make shitty decisions in her own life, and it is not your role to rescue her from her shitty decisions.
Right.
Like.
Yeah. And then he like asks Natsuo, he's like, well, if I got a divorce, then would you give me your blessings? In my head, I'm just like, of course not, because Natsuo is self-centered and he wants Hina for himself.
Right.
But we don't get an explanation because Ruri is the first to lose her cool and throws like her glass of water in the guy's face and like runs off with like Natsuo right behind her. And
Oh, and like I like that the one of the girls working at the cafe is like, oh, it's the fabled like water splash. I've always wanted to see this in real life.
The fabled water splash.
I liked that a lot.
Wait, did we talk about the spaghetti, the ketchup spaghetti?
Yeah, they have spaghetti Napolitan.
Oh my god!
And I'm like, good. Okay. I'm glad they ruined his stupid ketchup spaghetti with water. Fuck that.
Okay, so like, why is it in every anime they make this fucking dish? It's like bastardized spaghetti. Like, if the people in JoJo like were to come across this dish, I think they would faint.
Well, Maloney would be like, "Oh, molto bene, bellissimo." God, we didn't talk about like the stupid Italian in that episode. Oh,
no, they would be pissed off. They'd be like, "What is this? This is ketchup on our fucking pasta. That is the thing that we're known for."
Molto subarashi.
They would lose their shit.
Yeah, no. So like this dish is like, I don't even know what the Japanese think it is. I think it must just be like several Western cultures like mixed together, and they're like, yeah, this is what Western people eat, and we're like, no. But I mean, we're no better because like we have like Chinese food that's not Chinese food, you know. Mm-hmm. So it's like a spaghetti with ketchup on top with like wieners in it, and and it's always weird to me that they put wieners in it, but like especially in this show, like the wieners really do look like dicks, don't they? They really do. Like they extra tried to make them look like dicks. I feel like in this anime.
I thought they made them into the octopus ones.
Is that the little like cut open ones?
Yeah.
I think they
do that
always
a lot.
are the octopus ones. I think that's like the only type of hot dog things that they sell in Japan or something, or the tiny ones. Oh, they only have tiny sausages in Japan.
Oh, we got there. We finally got there.
But
Hurry up, Leo. Continue.
Natsuo comforts Ruri, and as the affair couple walk back home, Hina wants to take a break for the trash fuck sibling's sake, and Pretty Boy is like, what do you personally really want to do? Also, Natsuo totally wants to fuck your brains out if you haven't realized it yet. Like, he kind of says that.
Well,
she's like,
he
I
does
don't
tell
know
her,
what
like, you know this kid's in
mean.
love with you, right?
Right, but really, he said, you know this kid wants to fuck your brains out, right?
I love how she's like, I don't know what you mean. And I'm like, oh, girl, you know.
Yeah, she knows.
You know exactly.
The next day, Hina acts like yesterday never happened, and the other two are like awkward as hell. It's also the anniversary of Natsuo's mom's death, and he visits her grave and remembers how much of a crybaby he used to be. Oops, I mean, still is. Then Hina and like Ruri show up to pay their respects, and Hina tells them that she broke up with Pretty Boy because the trash fuck siblings are more important to her.
Yeah.
The
Trash
end.
fuck siblings are more.
I just as he's watching like the two sisters like sit and pray in front of his mother's grave, I'm just thinking that he's thinking like, yeah, Mom, so these are my two girlfriends. They're also my sister. I hope you approve of them.
Oh my god.
It's so
I've already
weird.
fucked one. I'm working on the other.
Yeah, I'm working on the other. I
Yeah.
mean, we got pretty close, honestly.
Honestly, okay, like whenever you say trash fuck siblings, I just imagine that like the two of them limp out of like a large dumpster, just caked in filth, like naked together, and they have that guilty look on their face because you know they've been fucking in the dumpster.
A little bit
like,
of
that's what I
flannel
think.
on.
Oh my god. That episode was ridiculous. Honestly, like not too much crazy shit went down this episode, but it was just ridiculous. More ridiculous stuff from this show.
It's just entertaining. It's like a train wreck in slow motion that you get to like comment on while you eat popcorn. That's what this anime is.
It is, exactly. It's a popcorn anime. I will admit, for sure. But it's like kind of well done at the same time. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we know. You just need
you
your
shouldn't have said
trash
that. Now
fix.
Leo's offended. He's like, I was okay until you said it was well done. Now I can't handle it.
Speaking of shows that are kind of well done.
Kat needs to do the next show with her cat ears on because.
Oh, yeah,
of
put your
this
cat
show.
ears on, Kat.
Well, you can't see, so you won't know.
Oh, I know. I can tell. There's a difference in the audio profile. I can see it in Audacity.
Okay. All right. I'll put my imaginary cat ears on.
You have to end
so-
every sentence in nya. Just say
Meow. Meow.
Right now.
Right meow. Okay. We're going to start the episode right now. Kaguya. Episode 4 of 12. Kaguya wants affection, okay, meow? So Kaguya apparently wants like to wear Kaguya, the episode starts out with her wearing the cat ears, which is just a blatant fan grab, fan service grab. And apparently this just breaks fucking Miyuki's little tiny mind. Like
I hope my mic didn't just like
on an
destroy
atomic
itself.
level happens in that boy's brain when
I might have to like
she
reduce
puts
the audio on that. But like he's literally like screaming at the top of his voice. It's actually really funny the way he's like screaming inside his mind.
Don't his eyes like bulge out in his skull, and it looks like it just looks like he's about to implode, like something terrible is about to happen, but really it's just him being excited. I don't know. Anyway, so he flips his fucking mind, and I don't know, and I was thinking, I had like this thought in my head, and I was like, why are boys always so obsessed with costumes? And then I was thinking, I was like, well, okay, I like costumes too. Everyone likes fucking costumes. And then Miyuki is still being all intense and weird about the cat ears, and Kaguya thinks this means he doesn't like them. So suddenly, doesn't like Kaguya tell Miyuki to put them on? And so Miyuki puts them on too. And she's like, oh! She like has the same fucking reaction. Is like, I'm gonna die! But like instead of freaking out like he did, she's like, I'm gonna bite my tongue so that I can look cool and polished while I look at him.
Because she can't get the smile off of her face.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It doesn't, and she like has this cold smirk on when he turns around, and I think he must have felt like an inch tall when she looked at him.
Yep, exactly.
And then she suggests taking a picture of Miyuki in the ears because she's like, I need this for later.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chiaki suddenly is like, or Chika, whatever the fuck. Chika. Oh, God. She's like Pikachu.
Yeah,
Yes, she
Chika,
is.
Chika.
Oh, God. Now I'm just going to think, someone needs to draw a picture of her dressed like Pikachu going, Chika.
That's a good idea, actually. You get you a lot of upvotes on Twitter and Reddit.
Anyway.
You can send in the drawing along with your dance of Chika
Yes.
to nerdom@gmail.com.
Oh, man. So, yes, Chika suddenly suggests taking a picture of both of them in the cat ears next to each other. So, like, they're both excited about this prospect, but they also are both, like, really, like, having a weird, intense moment standing next to each other in the cat ears because they're both fucking freaks who need to apparently go to a fetish show and get it out of their system or something because, like, this is way too much sexual tension. And so finally, Chica's like, all right, you guys are being weird. And she, like, takes both of the cat ears away because she's like, I don't want to be a part of this anymore.
So
this is a
again,
little weird.
Chika is the only entertaining thing happening on the screen. Her reaction to the whole thing is the only thing that's funny. The other two, not so much.
I did come around to Chika a little bit later in this episode.
She's good
and I'll
in this
tell you
episode,
about that.
yeah.
She is good. Like, she may have more brain than I gave her credit for.
I came up with a theory of why you think there's like a lot of girls that Bcom and I like, but you're like, no, you hate them because they have 2 fucking brain cells. And what I think it is you are mistaking their kindness as a weakness because you are not the kindest person.
This is the part where I get psychoanalyzed. Okay.
So you're seeing her being kind, you're like, oh, that's a weakness. She must be stupid for doing this. You know, and Bcom and I'd be like, oh, she's a really nice girl. Wow.
Well, but nobody is a nice person. Everyone's just nice
There
for
you
some gain.
What happens in the next sketch?
Oh,
Anyway.
they play another dumb game.
Oh, the banned word game,
So in
yeah.
the next sketch, the 3 of them need to buy sweets for this like French cultural festival that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And so 2 of them are going to have to go buy these, and one of them is going to get the day off. And Chika suggests they do this word game called the banned word game to determine who will basically get to take the day off. So the way it works is each person gets like a word above their head, and that word they are not allowed to say, but they can't see it, but it's like stuck to their head. I think they played this in like that other anime we covered last season.
I've seen
We
this
have
a
a
lot
similar
of anime.
game over here. I think one say it's Indian something.
It's called.
Oh man, that
there's
sounds
multiple
like
different
that sounds
names.
like a terribly racist name. I bet it really is too.
It's a card game, and you hold the card up to your forehead, and you're supposed to guess what it is, something like that. I can't remember the name.
Okay.
It has multiple different
anyway.
names, yeah.
Yeah, so she just suggests doing this. And of course, Miyuki is like, I really want us to lose, like me and Kaguya, so that we can go shopping together and be super cute and coupley. So he's like trying to plot how to get Kaguya to say love, which ends up being her word. And he's like, I don't fucking know if I can do it. Like that's a tall order. And then he makes Chika's word check it out because he thinks like that'll be really hard and Chika will never say that.
Yeah.
But then as soon as they fucking start going, she's like rapping and shit and being like, chicka chicka yo, I'm gonna talk like this, bitches. And like, but she doesn't say bitches, but like,
But
she
basically.
might as well.
She's like, I'm totally changing my speech pattern, so I won't ever say whatever you wrote on the card.
I know, and I'm like, that is actually really smart. Like ridiculous in this situation, but kind of smart. And I gave her like a point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I added a brain cell to my mental calculation of her IQ.
So she has 3 now.
And then I don't know. I love the part where she tries to get Kaguya to say like, say ha, and Kaguya just has this ice expression, like just dead. Like, no, she's not gonna say shit. I love that. But that's actually also a good strategy. Like, just don't say anything.
But it's also like a boring strategy, and that's like Miyuki's like, you at least need to like make it so we have like a conversation, or else this is not going to get us anywhere.
Yeah. And then Chika gets Kaguya to say love by basically acting like a sad, and this is where I was like, oh, I respect you, Chika. Like, you ain't so bad. You're a smart girl. She basically acts like very distraught and sad and left out because others in their class talk about love matters and, you know, they don't want to include me and da-da-da-da-da. And Kaguya's like, oh, but I love you. And like, oh, shit. I was like, oh, damn, girl, devious. I love it. And then she also, after that, is like, of course they include me in those conversations. Like, so cocky. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, Chika, yes. I slightly fell in love with her because not only is she devious and slightly evil, but she's also like,
nice. We got Kat on the bandwagon now.
Mm-hmm. Her true colors are showing. She was never the sweet girl that you guys seem to think she is. She's actually...
Or we saw it all along.
Oh, no. I think you were totally sold on this. She's so cute and nice. And da, da, da. Anyway.
That's not it at all. I was just like, she breaks up the atmosphere of the other two, which is like, it gets boring and repetitive after a while until Chika breaks things up and makes it more fun.
That's true. Anyway, but yeah, so she gets Kaguya out, and then of course Miyuki's like, oh, I really need to get out now, because, you know, otherwise I'm not going to get my super cute date. So he starts thinking about how I bet that Chika actually had some truth to what she said before, because otherwise it wouldn't have been so convincing, and how he needs to confront this, and he's like, let's get serious, and like that's his word, and so then he's fucking out too.
And I was laughing.
Like,
so,
yep.
like, Chika yells, like, Don Daio, which means, like, you're out. And I was laughing because Don Daio is, like, in that, like, really famous now ED3. And I was watching this whole episode with, like, her rapping and dancing and, like, yelling Don Daio. And I was like, why wasn't that the ED for this episode? Like, why did they make that the ED for episode 3? It feels like it fits with this one. And it was weird because, like, at the end of this episode, they went back to the ED from episode 2. And I think they're going to stick with that one for a while. Because I saw episode 5 had the same ED. I just checked the ED.
It does. I just watched episode 5, actually.
So I got really confused why maybe they just wanted to get it out as soon as possible to get people interested in the show. But, like, I felt like that ED fit with this skit in particular.
Maybe they're onto our 3-episode anime rule.
I think that's what it is. Like, because otherwise it feels weird that they would not have it for this episode's ED. But
well, I'm sure all anime studios are on to the 3-episode rule.
Yeah, so, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so trying to keep myself entertained, I was thinking, all right, let's say me and my co-host played this game. Cat was an easy one. I'm just writing a curse word on it. It's physically impossible for Cat not to say a curse word within like every 5th sentence. Bcoms would be a lot harder, but if I could write down sigh, that would be easy. He does that a lot.
Oh no, you could make it well actually.
Or literally would be a good one also.
The dumbest. For Leo, I would just say, oh man, what would I say? I don't know. Kat, what would be a good word for Leo? I'm thinking.
You guys.
You guys is a good one, actually. Yeah. That and Apex.
God, Apex is so good right now.
Man.
How about the last part?
This is the French parts.
So, there's actually 2 more sketches.
Right, yes,
okay.
sure.
There's this one where Kaguya is debating texting first or whether she should let Miyuki text first, which is like every fucking girl's like experience with texting ever. So like, boys, you need to understand that every single thing that you text a woman is scrutinized in detail. And oftentimes it is scrutinized like in a group of other women who know that woman.
Uh-huh.
It's quite sad, and I find it to be an unpleasant thing that we somehow do. But yeah, just be aware of that. Like everything is being scrutinized, like the length of the text, the content, how often, like if you double texted. So like basically Kaguya is doing this, and of course the maid is like, all right, this needs to stop. Like we need to not be doing this because let's be honest, it needs to not happen. And she basically is like, why don't you call him instead? And just calls this like Miyuki on the phone and just hands her the phone, so she's forced to talk. but his dad answers. So Miyuki's dad answers. And she like
he's the voice of Dio. It fucking killed me. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, that's Dio, and I looked it up, and it was the same voice actor.
You thought I was Miyuki, but I was actually Dio.
Yeah, it's literally the same voice. I was like, there's no fucking way.
But yeah, so chaos and embarrassment ensues because, like, you know, she's like, no, I want to speak to Miyuki. And, like, he's like, whoa, Miyuki, a girl's on the phone. And, like, then you hear some little girl in the background be like, ooh, a girl called you. Ooh, you know. And every, like, older anime fan will remember this, like, phase in history where, like, you didn't have a cell phone. You just had the landlines. And, like, people would call you and everyone would know.
Yep.
Like,
those were fun times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird that like there's a whole generation that doesn't even know what that is.
Yeah, it is really weird. I mean, I guess some I don't know how early kids are getting cell phones now, but it seems like earlier and earlier. And,
well, a lot of households just don't even have fucking landlines anymore. Because why would you need a landline? It's weird.
Right.
But yeah, so. And then Miyuki texts her like, tonight will be cold, so like sleep warm or something. And I was like, oh, I guess you got your first text, so good. But then like the date that they set up during the call like doesn't happen because it rains like fucking hard. So, oh well. So yeah, then the last sketch is the actual festival. So they're at this French festival. It's between a French foreign school.
You don't even know what the hell is said half this episode.
So okay,
well,
but
because
like,
they don't give you subtitles, but like it's intentional that they don't give you subtitles. You're supposed to have Miyuki's experience vicariously through that.
True, but also Miyuki was the only one who was speaking like actual French, because like the other girls, either between horrible pronunciation or actually just not saying words, were barely speaking French, like if at all. Like, and I heard like in the manga, what's spoken, like the speech bubbles are just like shapes that don't have actual words, so like they're not even supposed to be really speaking French, but like it's supposed to come off like both Chika and Kaguya can speak it, but like they did not pull that off in the episode very well. Like it did not come out well. It was funny.
That's unfortunate. But yeah, so Miyuki tries to pretend that he can speak French, but is soon caught like kind of in his own lie and realizes that he is the only one at this party who cannot speak French. And he's like, I'm fucked. And so he's like sweating it out in the corner, like imagining how embarrassing this will be for him. But it actually ends up being a good thing, as like the actual head of the school prepares this trap for the president where he's like, I'm going to see if this dude is worthy. Like, I'm going to have this vice president of the French school, like, who's known as like the wound liquor?
Yeah, the wound liquor. And she like sticks out her tongue and has a razor blade on it.
Oh, I know. Because she's such a fucking like
it made me think
at
of
insulting people, apparently.
That gambling show. No, the gambling show.
Oh, Kakegurui. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I actually do still read that manga. It's fucking nonsense.
There is a lot of tongue in that manga.
Tongue. But yeah, no, so like, you know, he's like, go out there and insult the fuck out of him, and like, we'll see how he reacts. We'll see if he's worthy. And like, she goes out there and says a bunch of shit to him in French that's supposed to be like scathing and horrible, and he's just like, no reaction. It's like, oh, okay, because he doesn't know what she's saying.
And like Bcom said, it's like us trying to sing the ED to Hisone to Maso-tan.
Exactly. Yep.
But yeah, and then Kaguya gets like really pissed and is like, oh, you fucking insulting my man, and like comes over and just like gives it to her. And like the girl just runs off in fear, and it's like, Japanese girls are terrifying, and like that's the end of the sketch.
It was cute later when like Miyuki's like, I could tell that you knew she was like bad mouthing me, and you like came to my defense. And like they have like a cute moment where they both accept that they kind of actually like each other, but don't actually accept it. You know, it's yeah.
I liked that he admitted to her that he couldn't speak French, because like he put it up this act with everyone else, but at least he's honest with her.
I also kind of liked the sketch, the third sketch, when she's back at home with the text, because like she shows how vulnerable she is. Like she lets the facade down when she's at home with just that maid, and like she just acts like a cute little girl, basically. Like instead of like the scathing princess she usually is. So yeah, it was fun to see that side of her as a person because it softens her image a little bit.
For sure.
I had a stroke in the first couple minutes of this episode. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I don't know if this was meant to make no sense. Maybe it is because like Miyuki's like thinking about the cat ears and maybe he's making no sense. But like
I was with you because I watched it too, and I was like, these subtitles these aren't sentences.
They literally. So I wrote them down. These two first sentences, like Miyuki says, "Yes, cat ears are your time, Fujiwara, as to Shinomiya is me. In other words, the time you brought was originally Shinomiya and cat ears alone." What? What? I'm assuming that's not supposed to make sense or something. I don't know.
Did you guys click on the High Dive one or the Crunchyroll
No,
one?
Crunchyroll.
Because some of these have
Crunchyroll.
two sets of subtitles.
Of subtitles, yeah. I would love to see another translation of that.
And that was not what it said on mine.
Oh,
It
that's
said something
interesting.
like, "Cat ears look great on you," or "they really suit you," or something like that.
Oh,
is
well,
what it said.
Crunchrolls were real
Yeah,
fucked up.
Crunchyroll just, I don't know what happened. That was ridiculous.
Because it's so funny. You said that and you're like, what does this mean? As I go, the translator had a stroke, and then
translator had a
and then at the same time, your notes you're writing, I had a stroke.
Yeah, exactly.
Just imagining this poor overworked translator probably sitting at their desk, like sweating,
Oh,
bent
yeah.
down, crouched, and just finally breaks it, finally snaps.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, let's move on to the last show of the day.
Oh.
Dororo.
Yay, episode 4, the stir.
Yes. Always save the best for last.
story.
Oh, I just had to interrupt you. I'm sorry, Leo. Go ahead now.
It was the story of the cursed sword.
The story. This fucking episode is so good, by the way.
Every episode is so good
Yeah.
of Dororo. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
this is a banger for the season. What?
Okay, so I wanted to let you know. So sometimes I watch Dororo and JoJo back to back. And because I've started watching them back to back, I do this fucking slip where I say, I'm going to watch Dororo and then I'm going to watch JoJoJo.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
One time's the more Joe. So it just has this brief opening with like some guy. He's not wanting to kill somebody. They have prisoner and throws himself at the feet of whoever is in command. And they just throw a sword at him. And like, then he gets up and like reluctantly kills the prisoner.
And they throw like a dull, rusty sword too, so he
Well,
has to
they
like
don't
through this guy's
say
neck.
that until later on.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I think they
Spoilers.
kind of they give it to him as a punishment because at first he's like, I don't want to do it. And so it's almost like their way of being like, oh, you didn't want to do it before? Now we're going to make it extra hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, see, none of this is explained yet.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
explained later on in the episode. So we come back to the present, and Dororo and Hyakimaru are at a shrine just like chilling and listening to the rain and
I
whatnot.
love the rain sounds in this episode because, like, at first it's just like in the background at the shrine, but like it's pouring later in the episode. I just liked it. It adds so much atmosphere.
Yeah, and Hyakimaru is actually just like standing out the rain, looking up at it, and like the girl that's there is like, I think he's listening to the rain, so he's probably like kind of listening to it hit his body, you know. But the girl, she's there, she's praying at the shrine for her brother to come back, who went to like fight in a war 5 years ago. And Dororo also deduces that she is a lady from a rich family because like she's using really fancy words and she has a very pretty face. And she's like, that was in the past and I'm just a peddler now. And the show also makes it like a point to show us her hands are like scratched up from probably like manual labor or something like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't go anywhere with it, but like it was very prominent. And even like there's like this zooming scene that goes right past her hands to just like emphasize that they're there.
My little theory on that is that a lot of times in anime I've seen these tropes of like the woman who says that they've fallen on hard times but is actually kind of like lying. Like I've seen this a couple times. So I think they show us her hands there just to show that like no, really, like she has fallen
she really
from
has.
grace here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then suddenly like a man comes stumbling down the road with like a large sword wound on his back and he dies, and Hyakimaru like sees the essence of a demon. And what's interesting is he just sees the red essence of this sword being held by the white essence of a human.
Exactly.
And yeah, that's just a really cool visual. So he rushes towards it, and like Dororo goes with him, and they find like a bunch of people, and they make it clear they've all been murdered by a sword. And that's when like this guy just jumps out from a tree and attacks him with the sword. And he's like, "This sword is thirsty." And Dororo's like, "How can a sword be thirsty? What is you crazy?"
It reminded me, remember that part in Golden Kamui where there was like this sword that they threw into a bottom of a river because it was so dangerous, it like just wanted to consume people. And then I think the old man like gets it out of the river and then he uses it like or something. Like, I don't know. It reminded me of that type of story. So this must be like an old Japanese myth, like this sword.
Oh yeah, because they were
thirsty for
talking
blood.
about like the sword that kept trying to like throw it away, but it kept coming back and killing people, and then like it eventually threw it in a bog or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the two continue to fight, and Hyakimaru actually gets back to a ledge, and like when the guy goes for like the finishing kill, it's like a stab kill. Hyakimaru uses his fake leg to block the attack and also causes the sword to get stuck in it, and he's able to wrench it from the guy's grasp and basically throw it over the sledge. And then the guy kind of ends up falling off after it and whatever. And Dororo's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll go get your leg." And he goes to get the leg, but the sword's in it. And as soon as he grabs the sword, it takes him over and starts like pulling him towards the village or whatever. It's actually specifically taking him to the guy who had it in the first place. We find this out later on because the girl from earlier named Osushi found the man and brought him back to her house because she recognized him as her brother. She also realizes later he's acting strange and thinks he might have been the person who killed all those people. So she's not an idiot. She's kind of putting two and two together, but she still loves her brother. And then
it's kind of hard not to. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is where we finally figure out what that flashback was about earlier. So the Lord wanted him to kill like the architects and the builders of his castle so they could not give away like the castle's weak points.
That's so shitty, but I understand it.
Yeah. The brother asks him to reconsider, and he like throws himself at the Lord's feet, but then the Lord throws him the sword, and he says, if you can't do it, then kill yourself with this. But then that's once he grabs it is when the sword takes him over, and when we find out like it's super rusted and everything, like he goes to chop the guy's neck off, and it doesn't even kill him because it's so rusted at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then
he has to like really fucking hack at this dude.
Yeah. So he's like, the Lord's like, "Oh, the rumor is the more blood this sword drinks, the sharper it gets." So once he's killed like all these builders and stuff, he then turns on like everybody else in the camp, and he kills all the other warriors and all the other and the Lord. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "Oh, you're still thirsty. Let's go get you some more." Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this whole time, Dororo has made it to the village with the sword and is still trying to resist it. But then like Hyakimaru then attacks Dororo, and he thinks he's actually trying to kill him, but really what he's trying to do is knock the sword out of his hands.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. He eventually does, and Osushi's brother, they killed me. We never got a fucking name for this guy the whole time.
They said it in the flashback. I think his name was Tanosuke or something similar.
Okay, sorry. Mm-hmm. So Osushi's brother picks it back up, and the two fight again, and Hyakimaru eventually uses his fake arm to block the blade, and at the same time uses it to unsheath his second blade arm and cuts the guy down along with the sword, cutting it in two. Once he does this, Hyakimaru suddenly gets his ears and hearing back, and then he's just standing there, and this is where you said you really liked it, Bcom. At first, the sound is just so crazy overwhelming. Yeah. You specifically hear Sushi crying over her brother, so that's one of the first thing he hears when he comes back. So that's I don't know, just really epic, and just the way it's done, it's just very well.
Well, it's just the overwhelming torrent of noise that he hears, the rain, the crying, every noise is just torture to him because he's never heard anything in his life. So probably to him it's like an attack almost. He's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
If anything, I was surprised by how quickly he adapted. It also reminds me at the beginning of the episode when they're at the shrine and the woman is looking at him and talking to Dororo about him, and she has a feeling that he's listening to the rain.
Right.
But obviously he can't be listening to the rain. He can't hear. But maybe he's just feeling the rain because he can feel pain again, or he has feeling in his body again.
Right. That's exactly what he was doing. Because we just figured out last episode he got his feeling back. So staying in the rain would be a really weird experience.
It's probably very strange to him right now just to walk around because he keeps getting all his new senses back and he's like, fuck. And I'm kind of disappointed because I can no longer call this Helen Keller. Oh my God. Helen Keller Samurai Edition because it's no longer, he can hear now. So,
yeah.
But it was fun while it lasted.
I hadn't heard that until now. So
I liked his.
Oh, did I not make that joke? Well, I made it now.
I liked his potato head ears, Mr. Potato Head ears that fell off when his real ears grew in.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
I didn't think much of that because I was like, well, everything's basically prosthetic, so this is going to keep happening.
I liked all the imagery with the two little paper cranes that represented the brother and the sister, and like there's actually a little after credit scene where they're positioned on the shrine on the together.
Shrine, yeah.
There's so many little touches. Like everything about the cinematography of this episode is really great. Like I don't. It's a little thing, but like at the very beginning when you see the girl's vision as she's peeking around the corner at Yakimaru, there's like this really great like focus and defocus where like the camera pulls in and focuses like around the corner as it's like moving around. There's just like all sorts of things that they do with like After Effects in the show that really add to like the perspective of it. And it's definitely coming down to like the director making really smart decisions. It's just like the blade, making it a character in and of itself, because like making you understand that the blade is the one directing like these attacks even before it's explained. Like you can kind of pick that up.
Well, and they gave the sword guy like such a character with how little he talks or anything. Like you can tell kind of that there's some of him left that cares about his sister still.
Just barely enough, but from his experience, it fucked him up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's almost like it's just not. It's like faded. Like he's not. It's a really good characterization for how little he's in the story.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree.
In my opinion. Yeah.
And how he's like smiling when he's had the sword like removed from him, basically.
Yeah, well, and he keeps getting excited, like, oh, it's coming. But, like, I don't even know if it's excitement, because at first I thought, like, he wanted it back, but I really think it was more dread. Like, he didn't know how to live without it anymore.
Yeah,
right?
And I was meaning at, like, the very end where he's, like, dying, but, like, he's so happy to be, like, free from this burden, like, that he's had like, his whole life. I also noted that it was cute. Dororo is voiced by a 13-year-old girl named Ryo Suzuki. So they got like an actual like child to voice the child part, which I think is always it adds a little bit of authenticity to like the role. So that's cool.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
But yeah, another amazing episode. Loving this show.
This anime, guys, like this is the shit.
It really is.
This is the only. This is the glowing jewel in this season's crown.
Yeah, I remember I had Mob ranked first, and you were like, "Really, over Dororo?" And like at this point, I think I would reverse that for sure. Like Dororo has been consistently amazing. Mob's been really good too, but I'm liking Dororo more at this point.
Yeah, so. I mean, Mob is good. It's just this is the one that you'll remember later.
Next level shit they're doing here.
It's really good, which I would not have expected coming into this season. But yeah,
it just feels like everybody on the team is really giving it their all.
Yep.
All right. Well, that finishes it up for today. That's week 4. Thank you for listening. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to us on YouTube to get updates on new podcasts and videos that we post. You can also find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, or your podcast catcher of choice, most likely. Follow us on Twitter at Nerdom and Other for updates. And you can also join our Discord. There's a link in the description if you want to chat with us behind the scenes.
You know you do.
Oh, you always do.
Again, if you want to do those stupid contest submissions for the Chika dance.
You were not allowed to call it stupid, Bcom.
This was originally your idea, Bcom.
Bride of Bcom submissions can be given to us anytime this season, and we will welcome them. Get your $50 gift card. Come on.
Indeed. With that, we'll see you next time.
Yep.
All right, later.
Bye.